Right guys, this is a quick video for new UK VP members who want to play Arma 3 King of the Hill. This is my standard cheap loadout. I've bought all from the MXSW. This is the machine gun that I'm going to recommend everybody get, the ERCO sight, and a Morse launcher which comes with you need the tanks DLC for that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out, normally I don't use third person, but I'm going to use third person for this. I'm going to switch to a loadout as if you're a beginner player. So the light loadout is the first one you unlock. As soon as you can get your level high enough, you want to get this. You want to get that. It doesn't matter if you get a higher player level and unlock all these. There's a whole load of different things you can unlock here. And none of those are really any good. They're not very effective. Obviously, some of them are really bright colours and just not very heavy armour. So here's your basic guy. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get rid of my perks. I've got 3. You have to buy the perks. So your standard loadout when you start out is this. You just have a little TRG. Now, when you first start playing, you'll get a free unlock. You only get one free unlock, so don't waste it. And I'm going to show you what I would recommend highly you use that free unlock for. Don't use it for a weapon that you're just going to use every now and again. You want to use it for a weapon that you can default back to and use a lot. Because if you look at the cost otherwise of buying these things, you know, compared to the buy once 100, so you can see how many times you'd have to respawn to make that weapon pay for itself when you currently buy it. This, just to show you a quick comparison, this has got very little recoil. So that's quite nice if you want a weapon that's got no recoil. Obviously you can get scope for it and all that sort of thing. So you've got that as your basic weapon. There's your iron sight. So here's your scopes. You can get ACO red, get an ERCO. You need a marksman perk to get any of these, but that's something you would unlock later. What you want to do is you go around, use this weapon for as long as you need to get your player level high enough until you can unlock the machine gunner perk. What you do, if you want a better weapon, just find a dead body on the battlefield and nick their rifle. And you don't need any perk to nick their rifle. You might need DLC. Don't worry about that too much. The marksman DLC is a good one for weapons. If you pick up in a sale or get it as part of a bundle in a sale or something like that, it's well worth getting. Most people who play Arma have actually got the marksman DLC. Like about 90% of the players that you're seeing King of the Hill. You start off with 1 slot. I've got 3. You buy each one. It's like 10,000 and 100,000 for the second and third slots. You start out with 1 free perk slot. And I think the only perks that are unlocked at the beginning are discount and ammo. So you would have ammo because it's pretty much the only one available. Don't bother with discount unless you plan on dying a lot. And I would say the best thing to do is try not to die a lot because you can't make money very quickly if you're dying all the time. You need to stay in the AO, get in there, stay in there, hide, whatever. You don't need to get loads of kills. Kills don't get you a lot of money. You mainly need to focus on staying alive. So I wouldn't get the discount. I've never used the discount. I'd use ammo instead. And so basically you can see how he gets, if you look at the bottom of the screen there, you've got you've effectively got 9 mags there compared to only 5 mags. That's 4 spare and then the one that's in the weapon. Right? So use this weapon until your character level is high enough to get the machine gunner perk. You can be a medic as a complete noob. It's very useful to your group if you once you've unlocked the medic perk, and in fact I'm not even sure, you might actually already have that available, I don't know. Medic perk's very useful. It enables you to revive people in about half the time or something like that. Launcher, just have a quick look. So there's your launcher perk. Now the first launcher that's available is this one. I can't remember at what stage it unlocks, but that's the first one that becomes available. I've got it permanently bought. I used to use it a lot. I don't use it at all now because I've got the tanks DLC, and the tanks DLC has got this, and it's the Morse launchers. But if you've just got the vanilla game, you only get the RPG 42 and the RPG 7 and this PCM L. PCML, I never got the grips to that. RPG 7, you get an extra kind of sometimes, well, you get 4 if you get the explosive perk with it, but it's rubbish. Really, some people use it, it's a bit of fun, I guess, but I used to love this RPG 42, a lot of fun. So I would highly recommend you get that just for that extra hitting power that you can have available to you. So as soon as you can, you want to really unlock that. But the problem is, if you've only got one perk, you don't want to use the launcher perk. The first priority is, unless it unlocks before machine gunner. Now looking at the list, it looks like launcher does actually unlock before machine gunner. So you might actually get that and get the base weapon. But basically the idea is get this machine gunner, and then go to your menu, and these are the machine guns. And you will see free unlock or use free unlock next to all these. And you want to save that free unlock for the MXSW, because this weapon is the best in the vanilla game. Otherwise you'd need the Marksman DLC. In the Marksman DLC you get, as well as the Marksman rifles, you get an SPMG and you get a Naveed. Naveed is incredibly inaccurate, but it's very high rate of fire. Very good in CQB, but not very good at long range. Well, it's useless at long range. No good putting a decent scope on that. But the SPMG, surprisingly, is exceptionally good at long range. It's got a load of scopes available. And so if you get, say, the Marksman perk, you can get this and get a Marksman scope on it. And you actually use it like a sniper rifle, but it's a sniper rifle with 130 round belts. 2 130 round belts. So that's a pretty effective combination. Machine gunner and marksman, get that, get a decent scope on it, get a ghillie suit and all that. But that's for later. Initially, as soon as you can, unlock your machine gunner perk, get the MXSW, just get a basic scope, but I'll show you without the scope. This is what it looks like without the scope. The iron sights on this are actually pretty good. I actually like these iron sights. There's a little green dot on it. You don't need to switch between single shot and multi-shot, because you can just go like that even on multi-shot. Hold it down, there you go, not too much recoil. That's pretty nice. You know, it's not like you can't handle the recoil. A lot of the bigger LMGs you need to be able to pull the mouse down because there's more recoil. So that's the recommendation. Machine gunner perk, MXSW. You can get an ACO scope. Here's the ACO scope, so I'll have a look at that. It's a nice scope for short range to medium range. You'd be surprised actually, it is quite effective at medium range actually. You can hit things in there. So it's still quite a nice little scope. And then if you want to be a bit longer range, you can get the ERCO is what I recommend. I wouldn't recommend the RCO, and I certainly wouldn't recommend the ARCO. I think that thing's rubbish. The RCO is good for the long range scope, but it's really crap on the short range red dot. But this has got a really nice red dot. Look at that, it's nice. Because it's not got a lot of bulky stuff around, and it's circular virtually. And yeah, it's nice. And then you switch. I've got the key C key switches to the long range, and that's quite a nice thing. And see the 6 and the 8, that's 600 and 800 meters. You're not going to be firing at anything like that range. I'll just quickly look at these other machine guns. Mark 200, not really that effective. It looks bigger, but it's pretty much the same round as this. Heavier. It's got obviously more rounds in the belt, but you don't need more than 100 rounds, really. Zephyr, way too much recoil, very hard to control. Never use this. Spar 16 actually has got very little, well, virtually no recoil. So if you really struggle with any recoil at all, maybe you want to try the Spar 16. But it's only a 5.56 round, whereas the MXSW is a 6.5 round. So it's a lot harder hitting, makes a big difference in armor. Caliber makes a big difference. The SPMG is in the Marksman DLC. As I say, you can use it like a sniper rifle with a decent sniper scope on it. I'll just quickly show you what this looks like. So basically, without any kind of scope on it. And you can see the recoil is controllable on this, because it's so slow. It's actually a very slow rate of fire. And a lot of people think, oh, that's no good, we want a really high rate of fire. But actually, that's not too bad. And so, for example, I can get, I've actually permanently bought an airplane. I use this weapon a lot. You can't permanently unlock this. You can see you can do that. So basically, if your player level is the bottom, you use this. As soon as you can, you unlock that. If the Spec-Ops armor is available, is somewhere around here, and you use that. So as squads, if there's a difference in people's different player levels, some people will be using this, some people are using Spec-Ops, and the new guys will be using this. And obviously there'll be a bit of a mixture of weapons. But when I'm playing on my own, I tend to go for the ghillie and sneak around. But if I want to be a squad leader, I will go for the standard thing. One other little tip with a ghillie suit is as soon as you can, pick up a helmet and stick it on. The helmet goes under the ghillie suit, so you're still hidden. And also pick up a carrier rig that's better than the one you've got. One little tip is to take all your gear out of your carrier rig and put it in your backpack, so that when you do find a better carrier rig, you can swap it out straight away and you don't have to faff around emptying your gear into your backpack and then putting on their carrier rig, dumping some of their gear and then putting your gear back in your carrier rig. You can just do a straight swap and then you can fiddle around with it later. So there we go. Basically, we want everyone in the standard uniform as much as possible. MXSWs, maybe some MXGLs. Launchers, particularly if you're on a server that isn't just infantry. Infantry servers don't need to worry too much about having that launcher. But if you've got a server with tanks and jets and choppers, it gives you a big advantage to have a big anti-tank weapon like this. Very handy. You're less vulnerable, because if you're hiding in a bush and a tank comes along, you're like, oh my god, what am I going to do? All I've got is this little gun. But if you've got a launcher, you can go, ha ha ha, I'm going to get you. Couple of shots from this, as long as they don't turn around and shoot you with a LMG or whatever that's in the commander's seat or whatever. So yeah, you're not so vulnerable. Right, that'll do for the time being. I can show you the vehicles just quickly. There's the vehicles. This is an infantry service, so this is all you see on the vehicles. We're on Independence, so the Strider is the standard armored personnel carrier. What I always go for is this. The Chilin, that's pronounced Chilin because it's Chinese. Chilin. The Prowler is kind of left-hand drive, I think, whereas the Chilin has got a central driving position, which is more comfortable. And it just means you're not going to hit a rock and die. Whereas if you have something like an off-road, you hit a rock, the wheel comes off, you can't go anywhere. And something like the hatchback, that unlocks at a higher level. But the problem with that is you hit anything and everyone's dead. So it's dangerous, it's very, very fast, a lot of fun, but you mess up, everyone in the car dies. There we go, that'll do. And good luck, and welcome to UKVP.